welcome back to Coach Creek Sports. Today we're getting back at it with another mock draft. This one's going to be from the number 12 position. I'll start off by showing you guys the draft that I did off camera first. So this team, we got a B overall. We had Matthew Stafford as our quarterback, Miles Sanders, David Montgomery, Julio Jones, Calvin Ridley, Tyler Lockett, Eric Ebron, Kareem Hunt, Anthony Miller, Jordan Howard, Zach Moss, Alexander Madison, Chase Edmonds, and Michael Pittman Jr. In our first 4 picks here, we went Miles Sanders, then Julio Jones in the first, second round, then third, fourth, I actually went Calvin Ridley and Tyler Lockett. So we didn't want wide receiver heavy pretty early on, but we got pretty good wide receivers here. Julio's he's a top 5 wide receiver. Calvin Ridley and Tyler Lockett, they both have a chance to be wide receiver ones this year. Usually, like I said in past videos, I don't like stacking Julio Jones and Calvin Ridley together, but we went for a little bit more of an upside play with this team. Then we got David Montgomery after that, and Kareem Hunt as well. So our running back depth might be not as top end heavy, but I think Montgomery is a fine number 2. Kareem Hunt should be all right as a flex play. If something ever did happen to Nick Chubb, Kareem Hunt has league winning upside. Then we added Anthony Miller as our wide receiver 4. Jordan Howard, Zach Moss, Alexander Madison, Chase Edmonds, all guys that have pretty good upside at running back if they would ever capture the full role. And then Michael Pittman Jr. down at the end, and Eric Ebron was one of our last picks as well at tight end. So he's a guy that I think has a chance to bounce back this year, especially. Fantasy Pros experts, so Dan Harris gave a C+, Tags was B-, and Cal Yates was the highest at A+, excuse me. So overall, I think this was a pretty good team. Obviously, we didn't go running back, or we didn't go as running back heavy early on, so our wide receivers are a little bit stronger. Kind of have to hope some of these running backs pan out as well. But with that being said, we'll get into another mock draft here. We're going to have everything set up the way we always do, PPR format, 12 teams, same roster setup, everything's exactly the same as always. And we'll see who we get the chance to draft at number 12 pick here. So let's see who all went before us. We have Christian McCaffrey, Saquon Barkley, Ezekiel Elliott, Alvin Kamara, Travis Kelce at number 5. That's real high. That's kind of a surprise. Michael Thomas, Devontae Adams, Dalvin Cook, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, and then Derrick Henry and DeAndre Hopkins. So it seems like wide receivers pretty much came out the board besides like Julio Jones here. And then we have running backs. We have Miles Sanders, Austin Eckler, and Joe Mixon. I'll take Joe Mixon here. I don't have a whole lot to say about that. You guys already know I love Joe Mixon, especially for this season. And here I'd be looking at like Miles Sanders, Kenyon Drake, Austin Eckler. So these top 3 guys here. Kenyon Drake has been seen in a walking boot now. Miles Sanders obviously has a lower body injury, so they're both kind of banged up. I think we're just gonna go Austin Eckler here, see what happens when we take him in this scenario. So we got 2 running backs to start out with. Coming around here, one of our picks is probably going to be a wide receiver. Just kind of depends on who's out there. So it looks like Le'Veon Bell went on the end of the 3rd round. That's kind of interesting as well. He's a guy I like a lot in like the 4th round this year. We got some wide receivers, so we can go like a Robert Woods. I might go Robert Woods here, and then Cooper Kupp, Calvin Ridley, Tyler Lockett. I think I'm just going to take Tyler Lockett once again. It might seem a little bit boring to you guys, but ECR's got Tyler Lockett as number 20. To me, he's a top 12 wide receiver this year, so you got to take the value where you can get it. And I think pairing him and Robert Woods together is a great combo. So we can take, I'm probably just going to take David Montgomery again here in the 5th. Pretty safe play there. We could look at Kareem Hunt again, or we could fill out our wide receiver 3 spot. We could get I'm probably just going to take Tyler Boyd here. I'm pretty high on him. I know I've seen different rankings where some people are pretty low on him, and then I seen one today where somebody was even as high as like wide receiver 9 for him. So he's had wide receiver 2 performances the last 2 years, obviously, so that's very useful. Jameson Crowder's still out there, so we're just going to grab him. Not a bad pick where we're picking him. And then we got guys like Deontay Johnson, Anthony Miller that kind of stick out there too, but we got 4 wide receivers now. We could pick up a running back as well. I'm probably going to pick up Jordan Howard here just because it's the 8th round and he's still out there starting running back in the 8th round. You can't go too wrong with that. Look at that. J.K. Dobbins lasted until 9-12 for us. So I think we're just going to take him there. 2 good upside play to pass up at this point in the draft. We're going to look at the team that we got so far. Joe Mixon, Austin Eckler, Robert Woods, Tyler Lockett, and Tyler Boyd. So it looks like we got a couple of week 9 buys here. Then we got David Montgomery, Jameson Crowder, Jordan Howard, J.K. Dobbins. Pretty set at running back. Probably take like another flyer guy. Let's see how many. We got 3 more bench spots open. So here I'm looking at like a Zach Moss. We're looking at an Anthony Miller. I could have swore Deontay Johnson's name was just there. Maybe I'm going crazy. No, that was the last pick. I'm going to pick Crowder. Excuse me. I'm going to take Zach Moss again. It's probably getting to be a boring pick for you guys, but like getting him in the 10th, 11th round, it's like free. Like if he's the starter in the 10th, 11th round, he's free. And then like next year, like if you're in a keeper league and you get him there, then you can just keep him. You got a starting running back for like 10th round value, 2 years in a row. Let's see who else we got here. Probably gonna could take our quarterback here. Matt Ryan, Matt Stafford are out there. Let's see what tight ends is doing. Tight ends is kind of moving down a little bit. So this is where like if I'm taking a running back, probably take a guy like Chase Edmonds here, maybe Boston Scott. Just hope one of them running backs isn't healthy week 1. Could get some value out of him there. Otherwise, we're probably going to wait down for a Joshua Kelly. Wide receiver, we're probably looking at some of the guys we've been looking at lately. So Paris Campbell, Michael Pittman Jr., Bryan Edwards, somebody like that. Keep your eye out for Bryan Edwards too. Tyrell Williams, he has a torn labrum in his shoulder. I think that news just came out yesterday if I remember correctly. But he's going to try to play through it. But if he's not healthy, that just helps Bryan Edwards' value go even higher. So lately we've been getting him in like the last round. Maybe now we have to pick him in the 13th round. But I still think he has tremendous value. Do we pick the wide receiver now? We pick a tight end now? We went Jarwin. We're going to just pick Jonnu Smith here. And then we'll see what comes back to us for our last 2 picks. Antonio Brown did come off the board. Somebody else picked Eric Ebron there. Pretty interesting stuff. We can grab Blake Jarwin and Jonnu Smith here if we really wanted to. We could get Paris Campbell, Michael Pittman Jr., Joshua Kelly is here. I'm going to take Joshua Kelly. And then we're going to take Michael Pittman Jr. here as well. So we'll see if Bryan Edwards got drafted or not. I don't think anybody took Blake Jarwin there at the end. So if he's still available, he's somebody you can pick up on waivers. We got to be on this grade as well. Fantasy Pros experts B+, B+, A+, so pretty good for them. And we got Matthew Stafford, Joe Mixon, Austin Eckler, Robert Woods, Tyler Lockett, Tyler Boyd, Jonnu Smith, David Montgomery, Jamison Crowder, Jordan Howard, J.K. Dobbins, Zach Moss, Joshua Kelly, and Michael Pittman Jr. So overall, I think this is a pretty well-rounded team. If you're picking out of the 12 spot, I'm not going to be too upset with this team. Normally, I don't like picking on the turn. It just makes you reach for some players that you wouldn't reach for. But I feel like in this draft, we got pretty good value, so I can't really complain here. We'll take a look at some of the other teams just real quick. I know I've been doing this a lot. By now, you guys have heard my thoughts on some of these other teams, these players, a couple other times, so we're not going to spend too much time in it. So we got CMC, Patrick Mahomes, Mike Evans, James Conner, Keenan Allen, Michael Gallup, John Brown. John Brown is 7th, pretty early there. Ronald Jones in the 8th is pretty good value, though. James White, Tevin Coleman, Mike Gesicki, Hunter Renfrow, Chris Herndon, and Larry Fitzgerald. So it looks like a pretty average team there. Saquon Barkley, Allen Robinson, Aaron Jones, A.J. Brown, DJ Chark, Kyler Murray. So this guy, he had three pretty good wide receivers there. Then he ended up picking Marvin Jones, Mike Williams, and Emmanuel Sanders. Sanders moved back a little bit. Still don't like him there. Alexander Madison, Hayden Hurst. So Hayden Hurst moved back a little bit. Tight ends didn't go quite as early in this draft. Jamal Williams, T.J. Hawkinson, Carlos Hyde, and then we got Ezekiel Elliott, Josh Jacobs, Kenny Galladay, Terry McLaurin, David Johnson. So the first 5 picks, I'm fine with all those first 5 picks. Then you get to Evan Ingram. You already know what I think about that pick. Deshaun Watson, C.D. Lamb, Jalen Reagor, Curtis Samuel. So a lot of wide receiver upsides there. Duke Johnson in the 11th. I do love that pick there. He's got a lot of upside, especially if something did happen to David Johnson. If I remember correctly, this team did pick David Johnson, so that's a good, safe handcuff there as well. Dallas Goedert and Jerick McKinnon. And then we had Alvin Kamara, Chris Godwin, Juju Smith-Schuster, Todd Gurley, Devontae Parker. Pretty solid start there as well. Russell Wilson, Brandon Cooks, and Darius Slayton. That team looks pretty good so far. Tariq Cohen in the 9th, pretty good value as well. Carrion in the 10th isn't bad either. Perry and Austin Hooper and Noah Fant, you could get one decent tight end out of the 2 of them there. Giovanni Bernard and Gardner Minshew. I like the late round Gardner Minshew there as well. I think he's kind of a sleeper this year. Travis Kelce, George Kittle. So this is the second time in mock drafts that I've seen somebody do this. I don't know why they're doing this, and especially picking Kelce in the 5th, or like with 5th overall. Pairing them and Kittle, so one of them is going to be your flex. And then they went Lamar Jackson, Calvin Ridley. So they really went 0 RB. And then they had Melvin Gordon, A.J. Green, Kareem Hunt, Deontay Johnson, Matt Breida, Preston Williams, Latavius Murray, Damian Harris, N'Keal Harry, and Brandon Ayuk. So a lot of upside picks. I don't specifically loved the strategy of picking 2 tight ends right away there, but the execution was fairly well. Then there was Michael Thomas, Miles Sanders, Leonard Fournette, Cooper Kupp, DK Metcalf, and Dak Prescott. First 6 picks, that's pretty great right there. Debo's fine there. It's a 7th pick. Christian Kirk, Justin Jefferson, McCole Hardman, Jared Cook, A.J. Dillon, LaShawn McCoy, and Devontae Freeman. Not too crazy about his end of the draft there, though. Then Devontae Adams, Adam Thielen, Jonathan Taylor, DeAndre Swift, and Cam Akers. So 3 rookie running backs in a row. Not too crazy about that at all. Julian Edelman, Hunter Henry, Aaron Rodgers, Marlon Mack, Robbie Anderson, Justin Jackson, Alan Lazard, Eric Ebron, and Jared Goff. And then we had Dalvin Cook, Tyreek Hill, DJ Moore, Chris Carson, Will Fuller, Mark Ingram. Not too bad a start there. And then he went Higbee, who we're going to just label Hig Bust for the rest of the year. Carson Wentz, Henry Ruggs, Adrian Peterson, Deshaun Jackson, Chase Edmonds, Ian Thomas, and Ben Roethlisberger. Some pretty good upside plays at the end there. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Kenyon Drake, Le'Veon Bell. So if you're going robust RB, I like this strategy here, especially if Clyde can play well, if Drake is healthy, and Bell's going to be like your steady 3rd running back. Then you had Mark Andrews, T.Y. Hilton, Marquise Brown, Sterling Shepard, Drew Brees, Golden Tate, Anthony Miller. So he might need some wide receiver help. Hoping some of them guys breaks out for his team, obviously. Antonio Gibson, Boston Scott, D.D. Westbrook, and Daniel Jones. So a couple good flyers there at the end as well. Derrick Henry, Nick Chubb, Amari Cooper, Cortland Sutton, Darren Waller, Jarvis Landry, Rob Gronkowski. I do not know why you're taking Gronkowski if you just took Waller 2 rounds before that. Tom Brady, Philip Lindsay, Jerry Jeudy, Darrell Henderson, Naheem Hines, Brashad Perriman, and Cam Newton. So Cam Newton in the last round, that could be a great value. I like kind of getting that Darrell Henderson and Philip Lindsay together. They're 2 guys that could see more touches in their backfield if something does happen to some of their competition. Then DeAndre Hopkins, Julio Jones, Odell Beckham, Zach Ertz. So 0 RB strategy there. Picking Devin Singletary in this case at your first running back. I'd rather just take like David Montgomery, Mark Ingram, Kareem Hunt, somebody like that instead, but that's me. Stephon Diggs, Raheem Mostert, Josh Allen, Sony Michel, Keyshawn Vaughn, Tony Pollard, Matt Ryan, Rashad Penny, and Alshon Jeffrey. So overall, I wouldn't consider that the best 0 RB strategy because like the running backs they went after, like not too crazy about their value there, or they didn't really go after guys that have high upside if something happens to their situation. So then obviously we had our team going last, so I feel like compared to a lot of our competition, our team was very good. But with that being said, this was the mock draft for the number 12 spot. Like I said, in general, I don't really like the 12 spot. I don't really like picking on the turn or around the turn. I'd rather be a little bit in the middle. You can react to people. There's less picks in between who you're picking, but 12 spot worked out pretty good here. We were able to get pretty good value. But with that being said, like you can find value in any spot in the draft. Just make sure that you know who you should be targeting, who you should be avoiding, all those type of things. If somebody's a value, go grab them. But this will be the second to last video in this series of our mock drafts. So this was number 12. Tomorrow we'll be doing the number 1 pick, which is kind of the opposite of the number 12, because number 12, you're going to get value at the end or have to reach. And in the beginning, you're probably going to get your Christian McCaffrey here. Then hopefully you get like another running back that falls back to you here, and then you can grab like a wide receiver or something. We can talk about a lot of different strategies from the number 1 position, especially since you're getting an elite talent like Christian McCaffrey, who, if you look at last year, he scored way more points than anybody else at the running back position. He gave you such a positional advantage, especially in PPR formats. But with that being said, that's pretty much all we got for this video. If you guys liked and enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. I'd really appreciate it. If you haven't already subscribed to the channel, please do so. It really helps the community that we're trying to build here at Coach Craig Sports. If you are a new or current subscriber who hasn't already done so, please hit that notification bell down below. It'll let you know every single time that I post a video. If you guys like drafting from the number 12 position, if you hate drafting from the number 12 position, let me know down in the comments below. If there's somebody that you think I should have picked instead of one of the players that I did pick, let me know below. Do you have any certain strategies you're trying to use this year out of the number 12 position? Or maybe you're going 0 RB early. You're picking Julio Jones and DeAndre Hopkins and then trying to find some value later on at running back. Or are you going running back heavy and then trying to find value at wide receiver later? Just let me know down in the comments below. Really interested to see what you guys think about picking from the number 12 position, especially in the 2020 season. If you guys haven't already, check out my Twitter at Coach Craig Sport. Check out my Facebook page at Craig Sport, Coach Sports. If you guys need to get a hold of me, you can do so on there. You can also get a hold of me via email at coachcraigsports@gmail.com. Be sure to check out the fantasy football discussion page as well. There will be links down to every single thing I'm mentioning down below. But with that being said, that's pretty much all I got for this video. Hope you guys all enjoyed and have a great rest of your day.